everyone, Kat here.
So, the reveal of Sugar Swan cookie has caused quite a stir in the CRK community.
Specifically, fans are worried she'll be a deus ex machina, or God in the machine, a being who swoops in and fixes everything when the heroes can't.
But for a game that thrives on its excellent story, this would be such an odd turn in the writing style. So, before the big finale, let's see what's most likely to happen by reviewing the earliest chapters of CRK. Yes, back when it was a fun-filled romp of crown-stealing cake hounds, wacky friendship antics, pure vanilla sacrificing civilians for a sealing spell that won't work. You know, cute stuff. Like that. CRK begins by introducing the 5 ancient cookies: dark cacao, golden cheese, hollyberry, pure vanilla, and white lily cookie. She's the first to become relevant after this cutscene, so yeah, remember her. In the opening prologue, these ancient heroes are confronting a powerful cookie named Dark Enchantress in the middle of a war-torn vanilla kingdom. Like any good villain, Dark Enchantress gets philosophical with the heroes and asks if they know why cookies exist. They give the standard good guy answers: friendship, love, happiness, etc., which kinda hacks her off. She strikes a serious blow and steals away their soul gems, the main sources of their powers. It seems like all is lost until Pure Vanilla goes charging at her, almost like he's got some insane plan he didn't want to use unless he had to. Spoiler, yes he does. See, what Pure Vanilla is doing here is accessing forbidden magic from the dark side of the moon, a weird kind of pocket dimension. He can't defeat Dark Enchantress with this spell, but he can seal her inside an aptly named moonstone. It won't cost much, just part of his soul and the lives of everyone in his kingdom. It's not clear how much he's aware of this price tag right now, but when it's all over, his kingdom has vanished, and the resulting explosion shatters the 5 soul gems that Dark Enchantress is holding. She's not going to let him forget this moment either. When the two meet again in the Timeless Kingdom story, Dark Enchantress claims there will be peace if she rules Earthbread, and that a few sacrifices towards that goal are worth it. This obviously upsets Pure Vanilla, who calls the loss of any life an unnecessary tragedy. Dark Enchantress laughs in his face and replies, "Typical hypocrisy! You who sacrificed yourself and the entire kingdom only to imprison me has the audacity to say so!" So, what does Pure Vanilla's self-sacrifice actually look like? Well, it's not pretty. Part of his soul becomes trapped on the dark side of the moon, while his body is left behind in the form of Healer Cookie. This part of him becomes an amnesiac, doomed to wander the ruins of a kingdom he doesn't remember ruling. Later on, in the Castle in the Sky story, we see Pure Vanilla's spirit on the dark side of the moon. Although the voice of his broken soul gem calls out to him for quite some time while he's there, he's unable to recognize it due to his overwhelming shame that he failed everyone. And he's not the only one to deal poorly with the losses of this war. The remaining 3 ancients, Golden Cheese, Dark Cacao, and Hollyberry, have similar struggles. But for now, let's get to White Lily Cookie, because she's about to have a run-in with the most unstoppable force of any epic fantasy tale: a plucky group of kids. Elsewhere on the map, best friends GingerBrave, Strawberry, and Wizard Cookie have just reunited after fleeing from a cookie-munching witch. By the power of being the protagonists, they stumble upon the remains of an abandoned kingdom, and they find a magical cookie cutter. The local sugar gnomes hope they will rebuild and protect the kingdom from monsters, while the cookie cutter summons a 4th member for their group, Chili Pepper Cookie. She dreams of stealing stuff. That's about it. The kingdom also has a castle, where a group of cookies called the Cookies of Darkness are snooping around and actually stealing stuff. One member, Licorice Cookie, nabs a crown that he believes holds the power of legends. When caught, he shoves the crown onto a cake hound and it runs off. It does get referenced again in passing. Apparently the little guy is extremely hard to catch, and it also stars in the game's loading screens. Who's a cute little looping animation? You are! Bored of crown snatching, the Cookies of Darkness turn to kidnapping bear jellies instead. But don't worry, because our heroes quickly gain another new member to help them out. Meet Custard Cookie III, who claims he's of royal vanillian lineage. Hey, perfect, the kingdom has a king now. The team sets off to confront the Cookies of Darkness and rescue the bear jellies. On their way, they catch the scent of lilies and follow it to a huge glade. And here's where they meet White Lily Cookie. She doesn't remember her name at first, though whether by returning memories or just by piecing together context clues, she eventually recalls it. She also says she is looking for fragments of her other memories. Oh, and she's insanely curious, as in nearly drowns herself trying to remember how water works. GingerBrave invites her to travel with them, and with her aid, they locate the Cookies of Darkness, who are defeated and retreat for now. While not exactly an official member of the Ginger Gang, White Lily does accompany them on their next adventure. They've heard rumors of a once great kingdom that used to exist nearby, and they're eager to learn more. Their search for information leads them through some village hopping, going from their home settlement to Pilgrim Village to Pomegranate Village. Through all these side quests, they learn that the kingdom in question is the now vanished Vanilla Kingdom. And they learn that Dark Enchantress is connected to its vanishing act. What's more, the local monsters have been acting up lately, which could signal Dark Enchantress's return. Following the trail of the Cookies of Darkness, they find Dark Enchantress's most trusted underling, Pomegranate Cookie. While they do manage to defeat her, she just laughs it off, saying, "The darkness has already consumed the Sugar Swan, the so-called legendary protector of this pitiful world. We have won." Only Wizard Cookie seems vaguely aware of what the Sugar Swan is. More than a protector, she's the creator of the entire world. Oh, and according to one of the priestesses, she also travels around the world to spread sweet peace. That's really all the Ginger Gang needs to know. And so the group rushes off, breaks some evil totems, and comes to the Swan's rescue. The Swan then instructs them to seek out Pure Vanilla Cookie, because only his magic was able to seal away Dark Enchantress. White Lily gets upset by this and cries, I can't let him suffer again." Then she runs off, leaving the crew to travel to Blueberry Yogurt Academy, where Pure Vanilla and White Lily studied magic on their own. The abandoned school is a bona fide flashback factory, and as the crew makes their way through it, they slowly pick up pieces of White Lily and Pure Vanilla's past. White Lily was once an insanely skilled student, to the point that she found classes boring and mostly studied on her own. Pure Vanilla, the second top student, often joined her. White Lily's biggest obsession was finding a way to make cookies less crumbly. With Pure Vanilla's help, she uncovered how to bake cookies, info the school was hiding, and even tried to create one on her own. When she failed multiple times, she proposed using a piece of the original headmaster's soul, the one who taught cookies magic, in the dough. Pure Vanilla told her this was a terrible idea, but White Lily, curiosity. She kept trying, and in the process, she opened a portal to the dark side of the moon, letting dangerous spirits flood the school. The staff managed to close the portal only to become spirits themselves. Well, now we know where the older Pure Vanilla got his whole kingdom-sacrificing idea from. The former teachers now haunt the school, chasing off the remaining students and turning the whole campus into a forbidden, ghost-filled wasteland. White Lily spent some years after that trying to make amends for what she'd done, while Pure Vanilla went through a series of trials on the sugar-free road and eventually founded the Vanilla Kingdom. The two didn't see each other again until the day of his coronation, which could still be a sweet moment until you remember that someday this new king will erase his kingdom via dark moon magic. After learning all this backstory, the Ginger Gang enters a room with a large moonstone and finds White Lily trapped inside. But if this is the moonstone that Pure Vanilla sacrificed so much to seal Dark Enchantress away in, surely it can't be broken by a mere child. Oh, nope, they smashed it. And of course it's not White Lily who escapes from the stone, but Dark Enchantress, who, as it turns out, is kind of the same cookie. Bonus backstory time. When White Lily went off traveling on her own again, she discovered a kingdom of fairy cookies on the continent of Beast Yeast. She stayed with them for a time until she learned about something called the Witch's Banquet. She knew how cookies were made, but she was still desperate to know why they were made and how she could stop cookies from crumbling. So, against all of Elder Fairy's warnings, she decided to go to the banquet herself. At the banquet, White Lily learned that cookies were only created to be eaten, and in her horror, she slipped and fell into something called the ultimate dough. The witches, curious what would happen, rebaked her. Dark Enchantress Cookie broke out of the oven, summoned an army of cake monsters, and basically scared the witches away from their own dinner party. Throw in some cackling, plus vows to burn and reshape the world for good measure. The remains of White Lily's old dough were then watched over by the fairies, while a fragment of her old self floated through the dark side of the moon and back to the Vanilla Kingdom, seeking what it had lost. It's this fragment GingerBrave and the crew have been interacting with up until this point. And although they have no clue where the other ancients are now, the Ginger Gang becomes all the more determined to find the ancient cookies, retrieve the soul jams, and stop Dark Enchantress Cookie once and for all. But wait, there's one more twist coming. Because, as it turned out, each ancient soul jam was once part of a larger, more powerful soul jam. And these 5 original soul jams once belonged to 5 cookies called the 5 Virtues, or the emissaries of the gods. One such emissary was the Fount of Knowledge, who taught cookies magic, and opened this nifty school called the Blueberry Yogurt Academy. Yeah, White Lily really messes with stuff she shouldn't. And when everyone tells her no, she'll go off and do what she wants to solo instead. I'll admit I was pretty annoyed at her for her absence in BC's 14, but I guess I do have to walk that back now. 1, we now know she was probably tattling on Dark Enchantress to the Swan Goddess, which actually is helpful. And 2, well,
I'd be a hypocrite to complain about her absence too much since, in my story,
she's split off from Pure Vanilla while he's being mentally tortured on the dark side of the moon. She's on her way back now, I promise. But now that we've reviewed all this early story, let's look at the Sugar Swan. Is this magical, benevolent bird going to swoop in and do all the hard work while the ancient cookies stand back and watch? I really hope not, and I really don't think so.
she might undo some earlier sacrifices, which I can see frustrating fans, but she's not the hero.
Pure Vanilla and GingerBrave both still have pivotal roles to play in the conclusion of this story. We see that with GingerBrave in the trailer, and there's a reason that the Ginger Gang travels with Pure Vanilla on his BC story, and they aren't directly involved with anyone else's. When talking about Dark Enchantress Cookie, the Sugar Swan herself states, "The only cookie who was able to oppose her was Pure Vanilla Cookie." And finally, we have Pure Vanilla's recollection in the Hall of Enlightenment. "Only I can help you create the perfect cookie, and only I can stop you." We'll find out for sure in just a couple days. But in the meantime, I still have all the confidence in these writers. It's been an amazing story so far. Thanks so much for watching. Check out my little CRK swap AU with the aforementioned Pure Vanilla Angst. And until next time, happy cookie training!